organization, larger organization, and smaller organization. So let us take the example of large organization. So what is a large organization? Let us say a cement industry. And the cement industry, as it is a large organization, it will come in the category of mechanistic organization, where strict rules and regulations are there. Channel of communication goes through various hierarchies. The president of the organization will give order to his subordinate. Then, like for example, his subordinate is the general manager. Then general manager will give order to assistant general manager. Again, assistant general manager gives order to senior general manager. Then senior manager gives order to manager. Like this, there is a particular channel of communication which has to be followed in large organization. It comes under mechanistic organization. Then tasks are more specified in larger organizations. Particular person has to do this task, and the employees, the departments, everybody has predefined tasks. If there would be a sudden change in the task, then it becomes very difficult for the employees to implement that task, because without the permission from the highest authority, they cannot do any changes in their task, right? Then small organization. So what is a small organization? Let us take the example of any startup. So what happens in the startup? There is no formal structure, informal structure, because it consists of very few people, and everybody has to do everybody's job. Like for example, one person has to do HR job, accounts job, field job, sales job, everything one person has to do, because the organization is very small. They cannot afford for more people to more people in the organization, as it incurs cost. Due to cost factor, everybody does every work. So this is again comes under organic organization. Any small organization comes under organic organization. And if the organization is very small, it may not even have a formal structure. Instead of following an organizational chart or specified job function, individuals simply perform the task based on their likes, dislikes, ability, and the requirement, as and when required, whatever they want to. Suppose, for example, in a startup or any small restaurant, sometimes the person who sits in the restaurant as a manager, he may have to also serve food whenever required, because there is no formal structure there. Everybody has to manage others' work as well. Strict rules and guidelines are not followed in small organization, and may exist only if at all strict rules and guidelines are there. It may exist only to provide parameters within which organizational members can take some decision in small organization. So again, it becomes organic. Then, as this startup or as this small organization grows, it becomes increasingly difficult to manage without more formal work assignments and some delegation of authority. So, like earlier, it was consisting of 5 people. Everybody was managing others' work, everybody was doing others' work, but slowly the organization is growing. Now it becomes difficult to manage each other's work. So more people are recruited because organization is growing. So there has to be a formal structure and formal assignments, and some delegation of authority has to be there, because otherwise the organization which has grown, if there would be a chaos if there is no proper channel of communication, there is no unity of command, and there is no proper hierarchy. Authority, delegation of authority has to be there, and it has to be implemented when the organization has grown. Now, what happens when the organization has grown from small to large? Tasks will be highly specialized. The particular person has to do this job. His job is now specialized, and detailed rules and guidelines are to be followed. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to manage a larger organization. Then, inter-organizational communication a flow should be from superior to the subordinate. Then hierarchy will come, automatically authority will come, automatically responsibility and span of control will come when the organization becomes a larger one. Then the type of structure that develops will be one that provides the organization with the ability to operate effectively. So, what ultimately matters, organization has to be operated effectively. If it is a small organization, you go for organic. If it is a larger organization, you go for mechanistic, because the efficiency and effectiveness of the organization matters at the end. That's one reason larger organizations are often mechanistic, and mechanistic systems are usually designed to maximize specialization and improve efficiency. So, what we discussed so far is the size of the organization matters. Size of the organization and the type of organization like mechanistic and organic structure. These two also matter. Then we will discuss about the other factor. First, size of the organization we discussed, then we will come to strategy of the organization. In strategy of the organization, there are various factors which are to be considered in strategy, implementing the strategy of the organization. So, how strategy affects organizational structure, we will discuss. How an organization is going to position itself in the market in terms of its product is considered its strategy. So, like I'll tell you about long term strategy and short term strategy. Usually, we discuss about long term, short term, mid term strategy. So, there are various types of strategies. So, as per the type of strategy, organizational structure has to be designed. This is a two-way method. Organizational strategy will complement organizational structure, as well as organizational structure also complements organizational strategy. So, now let us see how this mechanistic organization and organic organization, how they affect organization structure and design. So let us take example here. Suppose one company has decided to bring its own product for the first time into the market. So accordingly, that organization will plan the strategy. One. Another company, suppose let's say, has decided to improve only the existing product which is there in the market in a different way. It will only improve, it will give some kind of extra touch to the product. So that strategy would be different. So if there would be new product launch in the market, it has to be organic. Why? I'll tell you later on. If only the product is improved and a different touch is given to the product, the strategy would be mechanistic. How? I'll tell you. So first let us see the organization is launching a new product which is very new to the market. It has to be organic because the market is volatile. Decision is to be taken very promptly. There, whether you never know, the organization never knows the customers. The organization doesn't know about the acceptability of the custom of their product. So here what happens? Instant decisions are to be taken. If the acceptability of the product which is launched new in the market is not there, immediately there has to be some changes quickly, and for which that organization has to be organic. But in case of one existing product where the customer base is already there, a little bit change is done, then it is mechanistic because already there is customer base, already established itself, and there is some improvement in the product. Like for example, in the mechanistic strategic organization, modified a bike or scooter is already there, which is accepted, which is doing very well in the market. Some more features are added to that bike. So that is one example of mechanistic organization where strategy will be implemented. Let us come to organic. New product is launched. For example, a new type of bike is launched or a new type of scooter is launched, and the organization doesn't know what would be the acceptability of that product in the market. So as I said, the strategy as well as the structure will complement each other during the implementation of strategy. So during the implementation of strategy, all stakeholders are taken into consideration, starting from the customers, the shareholders, your suppliers, employees, everybody. All stakeholders are to be considered, and there has to be a linkage of HR department because implementation of anything new in the organization has to be done through HR department. So HR department has to take proper care of that strategy which would be implemented in the organization. May it be a mechanistic organization where you do some improvement of your product or service, or organic organization where you launch new product in the market. Each of these strategies require a structure which will complement the strategy that helps the organization reach its objective. The structure must fit the strategy. So what is the ultimate goal of one organization? Organization has to achieve effectiveness as well as efficiency. So strategy has to be implemented very carefully, and the structure should complement the strategy. Companies which want to be the first in the market with the newest and best product probably are organic, because organic structures permit organizations to respond quickly to changes, and companies that elect to produce the same products more efficiently and effectively will probably be mechanistic, which I told you already. Then strategy determines a course of action to direct various organizational activities. This is very important. So once you start implementing the strategy, the course of action is to be decided, because there are various organizational activities by various departments. So when you start implementing any strategy, may it be short term strategy or long term strategy, you have to decide which department will do which activity, and the department will now decide which employee will contribute what to achieve that strategy. So then strategy will work upon implementation, or the organization will work upon implementing that strategy. Then the organization makes plans to coordinate human and physical resources to work towards a common objective. So now everybody in the organization, may be employee, may be department, may be any manager or any authority of the organization, they have to come together to achieve a common goal. So that is the main objective of strategy implementation. Strategy is prerequisite to organization structure, and also it follows it. So organization structure has to be supportive to the strategy. Whatever organization structure we decide, the design we decide, it has to complement the strategy. Otherwise, the strategy may fail in the long run. So here is the graphical representation of strategy. Strategy leads to planning, planning leads to organization structure, and organization structure leads to overall organizational goals and objectives. But here there is another arrow mark which is going from organization structure to strategy. As I said already, these both should complement each other. Then we'll discuss about the environment. As we know, the environment has a very crucial role to play for every organization. So we have broadly categorized it into two: internal environment and external environment. So what are the elements are there in internal environment? Employees come under internal environment. The different departments, functional departments, come under internal environment. Communication channels, strategies, authorities, coordination, everything are included in the internal environment, as well as the policies of the organization, HR policy as well as organizational policy. All these come under internal environment. Then external environment. So what are there in external environment? Economic, society, culture of the society, technology outside, legal, political, and political scenario of the country, the law of the whatever law has been laid down, those also affect. We will discuss one by one. Let us first discuss with the internal environment. employees. One organization cannot run without employees. So, employees are the key factors of every organization. So, how the employees coordinate and cooperate with each other, and how there is a team effort to do any kind of job in the organization. So, there is interpersonal relationship. These all are called interpersonal relationship. Coordination, cooperation, team building, all these are leadership, all these are called interpersonal relations. So employees interpersonal relationship is one internal factor which affects organizational structure, and this is very important. Employees always want to work in a conducive working environment. So, what is a conducive working environment? Where employees feel comfortable to work. So, their interpersonal relationship has to be good. If the interpersonal relationship of employees is not good, it affects every step of the decision making process, every step of work progress. Ultimately, the achievement of goal is also affected, or achievement of objective is also affected. Then departments, there it is also internal factor. The departments, functional departments should be in coherence with each other. So there should be proper coherence and coordination between different departments. So if there is no coordination, then any strategy, however good it may be, it will fail, because the departments are to be synchronized with each other during the working process. Communication channel. The communication channel has to be good, and it should be an open communication channel. Everybody in the organization should know what is happening around. It has to be a good and proper communication channel. Another internal factor, the different the strategies which are to be implemented. So we have talked enough about strategies. Now we'll go to the external environment, external factors of environment. One is economic. The economic condition of the country, the economic situation of the country, anything related, any decision which is taken by the government for the economy of the country, that affects one organization as well as the organization's strategy. Political scenario, political situation, the government political party which is there in center as well as in state. If the organization is running in one state, then state's political situation will affect. If the organization is operating in more than one state, then the country's political scenario will affect the organization. Like this, legal changes, if there is any law related to the may it be organization or company, or if there is any law which comes for the workers or employees, that also affects the environment, that also affects the organization. Again, any change in the technology, if new technologies are coming, those are to be adopted, those are to be implemented in the organization, anything, any new technology, and that also affects the organization, because the technology which has become old, that may not give you the result which you are expecting or the organization is expecting. Then social environment also affects the organization as well as culture of the particular area, of the particular state, of the particular country also affects the organization. As per the culture, suppose for example, in one country smoking is banned, may not be country, let us take the example of in one area, regional area, smoking is banned and tobacco is also banned. So what happens there, if you are producing cigarettes, immediately if it is banned, immediately your organization will be shut down. So the culture, the social, and also the environment, it affects the environment of the and as well as the natural environment condition. As smoking or taking tobacco is polluting the environment, it will directly affect the operation of the organization. So pollution of environment, if the organization is hampering the natural environment, if the organization is, you must have heard the Bhopal gas tragedy, where the environment was affected since long, but there was nobody was questioning that. But ultimately, what happened? Everybody knows. So, like this, the organization should not hamper the society at large. The organization should have some social responsibility. So that is also called corporate social responsibility. So here again we will discuss about two types of environment. One is stable environment, another is dynamic environment. So in a stable environment, the customer's desires are well defined, well understood, and probably will remain consistent for a relatively long time. So for example, customers are static, and here comes again mechanistic organization. So let us take the example of furnitures. Customers' desires are well understood. What they need, which type of furnitures they need, it is already known to the manufacturer. Market is understood, customers are static, and it is a stable environment where again we can say it is mechanistic organization. Dynamic environment is organic, again organic organization. Here customers' desires are continuously changing, and it's just opposite of a stable environment. So here what happens, let us take the example of smartphones. So smartphones, like for let us take the example of any Android phone or iPhone, whatever. So always it is changing. The technology of smartphones change every day, and some new features come, so whatever phones we are using, after 3 to 4 years it becomes obsolete. So we need another phone with more features. So that is a dynamic environment of the organization. Again, it is organic in nature. So this condition is often thought of as a turbulent situation. In addition, the technology that a company uses while in this environment may need to be continuously improved and updated. So continuous improvement and updation of the technology is required, and it is a dynamic environment. So here also another example is given. Functioning a dynamic environment is electronics. Technology changes, creates competitive pressure for all electronics industries because as technology changes, the desire of customers also changes. Suppose one washing machine. Let us take example of one as washing machine. So, new features come with the washing machine. Earlier, the washing machine which was there, which suppose let us take the say 20 years back, the washing machines which we were using, it did not have the drying feature. But nowadays, washing machine has come with drying feature, and now washing machines are there, which are also they are keeping wrinkle free. They are giving wrinkle free clothes to the customers. So technology is changing. Competitions are there. Competitive pressures are there. So the electronics industries technology they are changing their technologies. So that is again organic organization. So always remember these two types, mechanistic organization and organic organization. Now let us move to technology. Let us talk more about this stable external environment, and let us discuss about some stable external environments. Find mechanistic structures to be advantageous. So obviously, the stable organization, stable external environments will definitely find mechanistic structures to be advantageous because everything is fixed in the mechanistic structure. This system provides a level of efficiency that enhances the long-term performances of organization that enjoy relatively stable operating environment. So what happens? The external environment which we discussed, they mostly prefer the mechanistic type of structure. In contrast, organizations that operate in volatile and frequently changing like organic changing environments are more likely to find that an organic structure provides the greatest benefit. Definitely, organic structure gives greatest benefit because it is it can fit into any kind of change. Adaptation is very high in organic organization. The adaptation to any kind of change, adaptation to new technology, adaptation in changing the strategy. If sometimes there is some modification in the strategy also, then organic organization quickly adapts to that. So definitely it will give more benefit than the mechanistic structure. So here, this structure, the organic structures, allows the organization to respond to environment change more positively and more quickly. So we'll now move to technology. So advancement in technology, as I was giving the example of smartphones, advancement in technology makes it easier than ever to track various metrics and collect and analyze information and communicate with each other. So what happens? The technology uh, has made organizations run very smoothly nowadays due to lot of facilities available like mails, WhatsApp, all these are used in organizations, and also for taking attendance some apps are used. When you enter into the organization, you only click on the app and your attendance is taken. While going out from the organization, you click on the app and you are signed out from the organization. So technology has made very smooth functioning of the organization nowadays. And these are these aren't just convenient, they change how businesses operate. How can your company use technology to become more efficient and streamline your organizational structure? And we are here, we were in the previous class talking about virtual workplaces. Virtual workplaces lowers the cost. So during the pandemic, during the COVID-19 outbreak, many have heard about the virtual workplace. So people started working virtually in virtual mode. So this is a new technology which is adopted by many of the organizations, and their infrastructure cost becomes half, sometimes maybe one fourth. So these virtual workplaces are the gift of new technology, and communication becomes easier. And here in virtual workplaces, hierarchies are very less. Communication becomes simple, and reporting also has become very simple. When nowadays people, the employees of the organization, report to their boss on WhatsApp or on through mail. So it has become very quick and very simple communication. Decision making has become very fast, and these are all gifts of new technology. Then there are two types: mass production technology and continuous production technology. So in mass production technology, again mechanistic approach comes, and in continuous production or small scale units, they have organic approach again. Like for example, if mass production unit is there, then the technology will be mechanistic. For example, garment units. Any garment production unit, if it is a very large scale unit and there is a mass production. So if the organization is large, as I told, mechanistic approach has to be there. Then if it is a continuous production and small scale unit, then again organic approach, like for example handbags or shoes. In case of continuous production, small scale production, the appropriate from the appropriate form is organic structure. This is because mass production technology involves standardization as well as specialization of work activities, and continuous or unit production require low levels of standardization and specialization activity. So these were the four broad categories of factors which affect organization structure. Now, what are the other factors which also affect organization structure? Now, let us discuss. Very important of any organization is customer. Customers and the market affect the organizational structure. The organization structure is also influenced by the type of market and customers it serves. And in a customer responsive environment, this will be one of the primary determining factors of structure. So ultimately, customers are to be happy, customers are to be satisfied, and then only the organization can run. So any organization structure is highly influenced by the type of customers and the need of the customer. If the organization provides service to a wide variety of clients at numerous locations, it will need to have a large organization. Like for example, need to have different branches, and like for example banks. So banks has different branches in different cities. They have lot of branches in different cities because their customers are widespread everywhere. Organization is large, organization is mechanistic, hierarchies are more, command channel of communication is large, unity of command is there, one person will report to one authority, and there are strict rules and regulations. So as per the customer base, like for example, let us take another example. If the customers are locally available, then there is no need for setting up different branches everywhere. Suppose, for example, if we have one organization where our customers are only locally available, it is not widespread, so it can be an organic structure. If the customers and slowly the organization grows and the organization becomes smaller to larger. So what happens? Customer base will now widespread. So this organization will open branches in different cities. So customer base as well as customer demand, customer market, everything affects the organization structure. Age of the organization. Now, we'll talk about the age of the organization. If at the outset of a company's life, its small size enables the organic structural qualities which promote flexibility and responsiveness. As the age grows, a business starts to mechanize, adding rules, procedure. Otherwise, it will be difficult to manage. When the organization is very small, it has to be organic. Quickly decisions are taken. That there may not be any structure, informal structure. Structural qualities will promote flexibility. If at all there is a structure, it should promote flexibility and responsiveness. As the age of the organization is growing slowly, the business starts to mechanize. Adding rules and regulations are to be adopted, policies are to be formulated, policies are to be implemented, and very closely observed. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to manage that growing organization. And also predefined tasks are given to the employees. Extensive internal system of control and command chain has to be there. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to manage a growing organization. So what happens? Ultimately, the organic organization is changing into mechanistic if the organization is growing. So, maturity begins about bureaucracy in the maturity stage. Rules, regulations, budgets, a refined division of labor and control systems are established. So, the bureaucracy comes, the hierarchy comes, the rules regulations come slowly. As the organization matures, the division of labor, the specified skills, the specific departmentalization, everything will come as the organization will grow or mature. Slowly, organic structure is becoming mechanistic in the process as the organization is aging. Then how products and services. We saw how customers affect, now products and services affect organization structure. The structure could possibly be based on the specific services and products offered. Large and diverse businesses have independent divisions since they are working with very different products and services. Suppose, for example, there are various products offered by one organization. Like the particular organization is offering clothes or garments, the same organization is offering food products, the same organization is offering cosmetics. So, different product lines are there. So, the divisions are to be set up and automatically it becomes a mechanistic approach. As per the products and services and as per the geographical region also, the organization structure depends on that, whether it will be organic or it will be mechanistic. In the same way, like the example given, post office has separate divisions for mail delivery, parcel delivery and counter services. Geography, as I told you just now, the geographical spreading of a business influences its structure primarily due to the need to be close to raw materials or consumers. Where there is a considerable degree of geographical distribution, there is likely to be more need for careful coordination and control compared to a single site location. So, if the unit is working in a single place, then the managing of that place and coordination is simpler. If it is widespread in different regions, then managing of the different divisions becomes difficult, for which hierarchy, rules, regulations, chain of command, all these come into play. So, if you have a strong need to offer services and products in a specific area, the organization could be split into regions. So, automatically, so if you want to concentrate and focus in all the areas, like for example, your product, your organization is set up in all the states in different 4 to 5 states, suppose, for example. And if you want a close observation, then you have to split the division into different states so that it can be fully self-contained and small form of the parent organization. Now, people or the employees of the organization, the most important internal factor, as I told you, individuals within the company affect the organization design in many ways. The structures do not simply appear, they are the result of people's views and opinions. Whatever structure you implement, whatever design you implement, if the organization's employees, they are not cooperating, they are not coordinating, they are not in synchronization with each other, then no structure will work in the organization. So, employees or people of the organization are the most important factor which affect organizational structure. So, the structure is also influenced by the kind of jobs and individuals in the company. So structures having a large number of professionals are more inclined to teamwork. And for that reason, to be relatively flat structure is advised always, which has to accommodate a variety of jobs from the production line operated to the chairman. So flat structure is always advised for a large organization. For an organic organization, flat structure is always advised, and hierarchical structure is advised for a mechanistic organization. So you must have heard about the VUCA world. So VUCA is V for volatility, U for uncertainty, C for complexity, and A for ambiguity. So every organization has to work with this VUCA world, where there is volatility of the organization, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity outside, which every day every organization has to face, and accordingly the organization structure is to be decided and implemented in the organization. So thank you for today. Thank you so much.